Hello?
Hello? Hello, Pavel.
Yes, Ron, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Who else is on the call?
Not just you and me. It's
okay, 'cause you said
about it's
being
for
with us today.
audience, for my website and for YouTube and so on. So,
Okay.
Ron, here's with us. It's very successful person and entrepreneur, Ron Salvador. Ron, thank you very much again, and hello. Ron, please tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living right now, and how did you get started?
Wow. First of all, I appreciate the time. Also, I love to meet other entrepreneurs and share information. It's actually what I do. I love to share information on the things that have worked for me and success principles I've learned from my mentors as well. How I got started with all of this was I was living in Hawaii about 13 years ago, and I thought I was doing great. I thought I was doing really, really well because I did what my parents had taught me to do, which is to get good grades at school, so that I could get a good job, and that's exactly what I did. I got a really good job with one of the biggest, as a matter of fact, the biggest newspaper company in the state of Hawaii. And of course, having a big job, with a big company and a nice salary, I thought I was doing fine. Living in Hawaii, going on vacation wherever I want. I pretty much thought I had the good life. But then about 13 years ago, this big company told us that we had to be prepared to lose our job because they would have to start letting people go and start firing people. And that's when my whole world turned around. Everything that I thought that I knew about, money and finance and things like that, which was actually very little, it really started to change, because what I thought was, how you make big money was you work for a big company and they give you a big paycheck. But then, of course, when this big paycheck was being threatened of being taken away from me, it made me realize that, maybe there was another way. And that's actually when I came across the book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
And I guess it was the time for me. I mean, had I not been in that situation, I probably would not be looking for a book like this. But because I was in a certain situation where my finances were in jeopardy, I was really open to learning more about things. And so when I found this book, and I actually came across from it because I saw Robert Kiyosaki on TV. I actually went to the bookstore, picked up the book, not knowing so much about it. But when I read the book, it really opened my eyes. It really was a fascinating experience because of the fact that what the book taught me, it was such common sense, but it wasn't something I was thinking about, that it made me realize that I had been living my life contrary to what I should have been doing. Like I was learning things and doing things that I wasn't really, benefiting for me, and it made me want to learn more. And actually, when it comes to like Rich Dad students, so we have Rich Dad students all over the world. I'm actually a really, really, really slow student. I'm not, I'm not a great entrepreneur, as you say. I consider myself entrepreneur and investor, but I'm not like the best example of a Rich Dad, student who turned into an entrepreneur. It actually, after reading the book, it actually took me 3 years before I even bought my first real estate property. It took me, several years before I could actually leave my job and things like that. So, by no means am I the best student. By no means am I the best example of a Rich Dad student. There are much more, I've met so many much more better examples than I am. And that's a really good thing about being in the network and the Rich Dad world, is that you get to meet a lot of people that inspire and motivate you as well.
Yeah.
And doing these things, eventually being able to leave my job, and learning more, getting more hungry, because when you learn something that works, it makes you want to learn more about it. And so I became really, really hungry to learn more about this philosophy, to the point where I would actually fly out to where Robert was and continue to go to his seminars. And eventually I got into a program, one of his programs, where he was teaching people on how to teach this philosophy. It was a year-long instructor certification program where you got to work with Robert for a whole year. And of course, you know, him being my biggest mentor and the philosophy that would really work for me, I wanted to have this chance to work with him for a whole year, and I did it. And that's what eventually led to me also wanting to be like Robert, where, you know, Robert, you know, he's a successful guy. He likes to teach people the things that has made him successful. So, you know, I've learned to also be in that environment and also like to share these principles and these philosophies, because in this time, in this decade, in this economy, the global economy, I think it's really important for people to know this.
Great. And so now you are a good friend and a partner of Robert Kiyosaki, world famous best-selling author, and you started to work with him after completing this program. Is that right?
Yes, I wouldn't say that I'm a partner of Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, he has many, you know, partners. I mean, that's a loose term, what you can say. I was involved in several of Robert Kiyosaki's projects. I'm currently involved in his newest project, which is called GEO. It's Global Entrepreneurial Organization. We're currently in development of this project, and I'm really excited about that. I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say I'm a partner of Robert's. However, I am involved in many of his projects, and some of his projects actually, when it comes to, you know, to Rich Dad and teaching his game and his philosophy. Yeah. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. Now, obviously, Robert is a successful entrepreneur and businessman. He has many projects going on. I'm on a small part of the education side, obviously, and I'm really happy about that. It's very exciting work.
Yeah. Ron, and I know you're very passionate about learning and growing as a person, as an entrepreneur, and you mentioned that you had great teachers, great mentors. What were your mentors at that time when you lived in Hawaii, and who are your mentors right now?
Well, you know, I have to say that Robert is probably my biggest mentor. And going through, you know, self-development, personal development, which I think is really, really important, not just business development. I think personal development in conjunction with business development is extremely important. And, you know, actually, I think it's three pieces. I think it's business development, personal development, and accountability. You have to have all three of those pieces. And I actually learned that from Blair Singer, who's one of Robert's closest friends, and he's also a Rich Dad advisor, and whom I would consider a mentor. Now, people outside of the Rich Dad network, with Tony Robbins, I've looked up to Brian Tracy, and many other mentors that are common within a lot of people in personal development. I think are really great people. You know, but you know, to be honest with you, I've surrounded myself so much in the Rich Dad network that, you know, most of the people that I learn from are within the Rich Dad network, and you'll find a lot of great, you know, examples and entrepreneurs that could be a mentor in this network.
Absolutely, there are a lot of great, open-minded and positive people. That's absolutely you're right. Thank you. And Ron, tell please more about your company Invisible 99. What is it, and how do you help people?
You know, what's interesting about Invisible 99 was how it was created. It was me and a couple of my friends from Estonia that decided to take on a project that was so big, so scary, that we didn't know how to get it started. And that goal actually was to bring Robert Kiyosaki to Moscow, to Russia, for the first time, which we actually did last year. We were able to get him there and put him in front of 5,000 crazy Russian people in Moscow. It was an incredible event. And Invisible 99 was actually the entity, the corporation that we started in order to get this project going. So actually, the endeavor of Invisible 99 started out to bring Robert Kiyosaki to Russia. What the goal of the company eventually to be, and it's still actually just the shell of a company, because basically what we did to create it was to have the entity by which to organize the event, Robert visiting Moscow and St. Petersburg. But we also had the intention of it being, kind of a conduit, an entity by which we could provide education, through this way. However, I have to be honest with you, Invisible 99, since Robert's event, hasn't really done much. The website still in construction. All of us are entrepreneurs, so myself and my two partners, we're all doing our own things, and we haven't really, moved forward with the company of Invisible 99. Although that I'm one of the founders, we're still all, very massive entrepreneurs doing our own projects. So when in time we do decide to get back together, I'm sure that we'll move forward with more Invisible 99 things.
Yeah. And Ron, you told about last year when you, Ron, and all of his team came to Moscow. So it was my first time I've met you and Robert personally there. Yeah, that was great. Thank you for that event and for this opportunity, Ron.
Well, I appreciate that. It actually took, a lot of people don't realize this, but it actually took 2 years to get Robert to Russia. So when I talk about that story of me and my friends getting together and thinking about, okay, let's see if we can get Robert to Russia. It wasn't like a simple phone call to the Rich Dad company and say, Robert, we think we should go to Russia. It actually took 2 years of planning and organizing. As you must understand, Robert is a world-renowned speaker. People want him all over the world. It's not the easiest thing to schedule him to get to anywhere. So it was a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication to put towards it. But I do appreciate that a lot of people got great value of it. I think it was a great event.
Absolutely, it was amazing day. Yeah, Ron, and I know you should go soon. And my last question will be: what is success for you, and what are the most important qualities and keys should develop people who want to succeed in life and business?
It's interesting because I've been doing a lot of studying with Robert and the company about what education is, and it's surprising that education, although a lot of people think that they know what education is, really what we've gone through in education is a system which was created by governments to teach us how to do the things that they wanted, which is, it makes sense, because you want an education system teaching people the necessary skills in order to get a job, in order to work, in order to support the society and things like that. However, it's gotten to the point where people no longer think for themselves. They don't know even how to think. So, for me, success, it would actually depend on who is looking at this word, and how do they define it, because do people even know what the word success means? And that's the thing that I'm starting to really delve into, because for me, I have my own context, my own meaning of success, and for me, my meaning of success is to be able to do the things that you want without having to worry about whether or not you can afford them, to actually pursue the happiness for yourself, for your family, for the things that you're being able to provide, and being able to grow and continue to learn. A lot of people think that what I teach is to get rich and to have tons of money and to acquire and accumulate a lot of things and cars and houses and all this other stuff. But you know what? There are a lot of people with things like that aren't happy, and it's not about being rich necessarily in monetary wealth, in material wealth and things like that. It's about being able to live the life that you were designed and destined to live. And I truly believe that people are much more effective in society towards each other when they don't have to worry about the things that the common necessities in life, like food and shelter and clothing and healthcare and things like this. If these things are taken care of, I think the real abundance of what people are about will come out. And I think ultimately that's what success is. I think ultimately that's what happiness is. Yeah. And so, when I teach this philosophy, it's much more deeper than just teaching about money and acquiring money. It's understanding the rules of money so that you can take care of those things. And if you can take care of those things in this economy, in this society, whether you like money or not, it is definitely something that you're going to have to deal with. If you're living in a society where there's money being involved in order for you to get food, things like that, you definitely have to, whether you like it or not, you definitely should, have to know about it. And it's so vitally important to educate yourself on how it works so that you can take care of that side and then do the things that you want to do, that you're truly designed to do. And a lot of people think, oh, we're teaching people to be real estate investors or business people or things like that and to leave their job. No, absolutely not. If you love your job, if you love being employed, if you love your profession, then by all means do that. However, if it is causing you, financial stress and strain to maintain your life the way you want it, then handle that situation as well so that you can do your job or do whatever you want to do without having to worry that your finances are a problem and things like that. And that's ultimately what I teach and why I teach the things that I teach.
Wow, great. Ron, thank you very much for your time and for being with me. It was great talking with you. And I wish you have an abundant, bright weekend and talk to you very soon, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it, Pavel. If I could send out one last message, Russia. Yeah. I've been there several times already. I think it's a wonderful country. If I can pass on the message that I got from Robert when he visited Russia, it was a very interesting message. It was kind of provocative, not only for the Russians but for Americans as well. He said that Russia is actually in this time moving away from communism, whereas America is moving towards communism because of the fact that in America, a lot of Americans are looking towards the government, are looking towards the politicians to solve all these problems and to provide more jobs and things like this. So a lot of Americans are actually looking for the United States to provide. Whereas in Russia, it's a lot of Russians are realizing that they can't rely on the government to do these things. So we're finding a lot of hunger towards capitalism, towards entrepreneurialism and things like that. Russians are coming up in this mentality and this mindset even more so than what I would consider Americans are doing at this moment. So I'm seeing a little truth to that. I don't know if it's exactly true, but it's great to see that there are a lot of business people and a lot of investors, a lot of entrepreneurs coming up in Russia. And I think it's regardless of what is right for you, please continue to educate yourself. Please continue to seek more knowledge, even beyond just what you're getting from conventional school systems. Look for mentors of people that are doing the things that you like to do and being the people that you like to be, and find them, learn from them, and do what they're doing, because that's all that I do as well. And I can tell you, having this kind of life is a much better world for me. Yeah. And experiencing the types of things I experience because of the fact that I continue to personally develop myself. It's just been so fulfilling and such a great thing for myself, and the impact on other people has been fantastic as well. So if I can send a message to you and your network, continue to develop yourself, and don't be afraid to go in places that are uncomfortable for you, because that's how you grow and that's how you learn.
Absolutely, Ron. And one of my favorite Jim Rohn's quote is, formal education will make you a living and self-education will make you a fortune. And when I started personal development process like 6 or 7 years ago, my life changed completely, and I see the results everywhere in my life. And thank you very much for your wisdom about that and your words, Ron.
Well, good for you, Pavel. And maybe someday you never know. Maybe we'll get together and be able to work on a project together. This global entrepreneurial organization is starting out here in Arizona, but you know it's called Global Entrepreneurial Organization. So maybe someday the endeavor will reach out there to Russia, and we can get a whole bunch of people to be part of this. The whole plan is for it to be really, really great and all about personal development, business development, and accountability. So hopefully this whole thing will come back around in circles and we'll be able to talk again.
Absolutely great. It will be great pleasure again for me. Thank you very much again, my friend.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.